if you think this is bad,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, the stuff I could share with you. I remember telling her, I'm used to eating ramen noodles and hot dogs. I ate ramen noodles and hot dogs to start. So if I need to eat ramen noodles and hot dogs again to get this business going, because it is my true purpose, I don't mind eating ramen and noodles and hot dogs.
Yep.
I think you do. And that's going to be the difference between us. You can't take a step back to take a step forward. But sometimes you just got to do that, and yeah, that's been like the most heartbreaking thing with my employees in this, the shift that our, world's taking right now, where I'm just like, just push through.
Right.
Every person I see, I'm like, you need to read Man's Search for Meaning. You need to read these books, because these are the people that are the strong-minded people that are going to adapt instead of demand. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that's when you see those people go, oh, I found my purpose in that struggle.
What the hell's going on out here?
All right, welcome back. Another episode, Fueled by Spite. I'm joined here with, we've known each other about 10 years now, because I've only been down here 10 years. Jen, actually, this is kind of fun saying this. I think I've only heard your last name twice.
Oh, really?
And God help me, I ain't going to be able to spell it.
Yeah.
Jen, what's your last name that I've known you for?
Duranczyk.
Duranczyk, that I've known for 10 years.
Yes.
Again, we run
problem.
Just imagine. We run complementary businesses, obviously chiropractor, massage therapist, both entrepreneurs, both started our own business here. Well, one thing you had said, so you're in a new space, and we'll catch up on that really quick, but you're looking for other providers, other massage therapists, or just therapists in general to refer to.
Yes.
Why did you say that again?
Because I've got an overflow of clientele. So, it's a weird mentality, because people say, well, that's a good problem to have. And I don't ever really think of it as a problem. I think of it as, I never think that I should stop looking for clientele. So I always keep the mentality of, I just need to find them another home, because I'm just too busy right now. I've got a, wait list until the end of August, So yeah, I've got to go find somebody else that I trust to refer to do body work again, because even some of the women and men that worked with me over at Fusion Whole Body Recovery have become very successful massage therapists themselves, and they're getting booked. So I need a new group of fresh therapists to refer to.
Now, the reason that kind of that resonated with me, I had a previous coach, and one of the things that he said, if you want to help more people, you just got to double the amount of people which is a wonderful marketing strategy. But then if it came to the point where, you need to open up your hours to help more people, or, things like that. But it sounds like you are in a different space right now, in that like head space, business space. And in all reality, I'm on my way to that same point. Like, I don't want to help. This sounds bad. I don't want to help more people. I want to help the right people. I want to be able to pick and choose who I help, because I mean, in a service industry, like sometimes that's draining. Helping the wrong people is mentally and physically exhausting, especially like in our lines of work. So it was interesting just hearing you say it. Like, I'm looking for people to, for lack of a better word, kind of pawn off.
Right.
All the people that want my services.
Exactly. And some of those people, those clients might be really ideal clients for me. I can say with honest truth that my clientele that I have right now as my regular clientele is my ideal clientele. It's taken, I think that was one big thing with this move, that I now consistently see my ideal clientele. But you're exactly right. My specialties are in a very certain, group of people. And if those people aren't willing to work with me for their recovery, then I need to find them someone else to go to.
That's awesome.
They're not in the right headspace quite yet. Hopefully they'll be there one day.
Give me your origin story. How did you get to take us to opening of Fusion?
One of my big things beliefs is that you like continuously reinvent yourself. So, but the Fusion story started, I had been doing body work for about 8 years in Grapevine, and I had met a client. You always heard, don't start business with a family member, don't start business with a friend. So I had met a client that in that time, she was very frustrated with her business, and cryo was coming out. So I did cryo. I had a back injury around that time. That's kind of another story. I found that it worked. She was like, I want to get out of this job. I was at a position at that job that I couldn't grow anymore. I was seeing too many people. The owner of that business didn't have any other options for me, like profit sharing or any kind of management position where I could grow outside of my physical work. So we both had the funds, and we said, well, let's get into this business. So we had enough rapport that I was like, okay, we get along. She was very opposite of me. She was very by the book, very, she was actually a risk analysis person, which actually ended up, I think, being a fault for that particular thing. But anyways, so I was like, good, we've got a project management person and then a person that really knows the business. I'll be the basically, front person. She can be the back person, match made in heaven. She wanted to open up a cryo facility. I said, I'll never open a cryo facility. I'll open a wellness facility because cryo is a piece of equipment that can get outdated and you'll get flushed out, which,
Fair.
yeah, is fair. So we had come up to the agreement that we were going to open Fusion, and we got investor. So we got an investor, a small investor, built that place out, and decided to open. So I decided to open it because I had a consistent amount of clients telling me that I wish there was a place that offered multiple modalities. So I saw the need for it. She got into it more just to escape the mundane of it. So yeah, so that's kind of how it started. And at the time, I think I was married at that time, but I didn't have any children yet. So I had lots of time.
When are we talking? What year was?
2013 was
Okay.
when I opened Fusion. So yeah, so that's
Really?
how it started.
Damn, I actually, because I opened in 14.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that
Right
we were that
behind?
close. Yeah,
I think I
cool.
kind of remembered that because I think we met shortly after that. I knew you were relatively new in the area.
Now, are you from here originally?
Yeah, so I'm from Dallas, North Richland Hills. So I was raised in North Richland Hills, but I lived in North Carolina, got educated in Wilmington, and then came back.
You had the clientele, you had the financial backing, you had the analytical backing, let's call it, the back office kind of stuff. How many? It sounds like you had this. It might even be counterintuitive to the name of the podcast here. It sounds like you had a good deal of support, or at least, to get, for lack of a better word, cheerleaders. People telling you, "Hey, go out on your own."
Yeah.
Do you have anyone who didn't?
I had some friends, that kind of fell off. That really, it's weird because you've probably experienced this at the beginning. They're super excited for you. And I did have that. I still have my mentor who owns Advanced Bodywork in Grapevine. She's roots for me because she knows what the world's like as well. But yes, it was more like, I don't know if I think there was a group of people that thought I was doing it just to try it out and didn't think it was actually part of my core being, like that state of mind of consistently wanting to grow. Like I remember my ex-husband, he came from a very wealthy family. And even when I married him, people were like, oh, you're still going to work? And I was like, yeah. So that was like the first indication of like, do you guys think I do this for fun? Because I don't. So once I really started putting my time and energy into the business and people started to see what I needed to sacrifice as far as my time and energy, they were like, oh, well, I'm out of that now. I think that was the big thing, was when they started to see how much time I needed to commit to that business and how passionate I was about it. And that, oh, well, we don't like that. Like, you know what I mean? You have to make lifestyle changes. We don't like that, So yeah, I had some support at the beginning and I still have support. It's just got less,
One, it's 100% accurate. But two, like, it's just, you could tell it happens. If you can't tell, you can tell that it happens with such regularity that you say it so nonchalantly, like, I did have support and it's become less, but like it is. And it's, man, it's interesting. It fucking sucks.
It does.
The amount of people who are they're there when you're starting, and just as you continue, and like literally, like, you say, hey, I'm gonna do this, and then as you continue to fucking do it, as you do what you said you were going to do, people get pissed.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is what I've been telling you this whole time.
Right. And I feel like that's not, I mean, that's In a lot of self-improvement things, whether it's, I want to start working out and getting healthy, I feel like there's always these hard lines in your life that you just have to go. You're either going to go with me or you're going to stay behind.
Mhm.
And people don't like that, a lot of times. And unfortunately, the more you do that in order to better yourself, or maybe, you see a flaw in yourself that you may want to correct or something, or you want to strive for a dream. Like, I feel like that gets less and less. Like, you make cuts almost in your life. And it's, at first it really made me sad, but now I'm just like, you know what? Like, I consistently do this and I consistently feel better about that decision.
Mhm.
So if that's what it is, that's what it is. And I think that I wasn't always a blunt person. I think that's kind of what made me more blunt, because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we're just going to cut the bullshit
Uh-huh.
right off the bat, instead of what Jen used to do. And that was soothing the other person, trying to make them feel good about everything. And then at the end, still seeing that they did that.
The ability to cut people out that you realize this sounds a bit like aren't serving you.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Well, and no matter how much you learn too, that no matter how much effort you may put into that relationship, hoping that that may happen, you're still not in control of that person's ultimate decision to walk
Mhm.
away, because they may not like something simple. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what consistently would happen to me. And it kind of started to happen with Fusion. And that's when I was like, enough is enough, because I'm like, I've poured everything I can into this business, and I can honestly walk away and say I did everything I absolutely thought I could do for this business model to make a difference. I just the people just don't want to stand with me, or consistently back me when I
Mhm.
need them and I need to be backed. And I'm tired of doing that. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of providing a job for people that aren't going to back me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I mean,
Not saying that you can't find good people. Worked, which is another lesson that I learned. I worked so much inside the business that I couldn't manage that. So
mhm.
that was my fault. That was my lesson learned in that business.
I actually just had to let somebody go. What's today? What's today? Tuesday? I remember this. Yeah,
Yeah, like
let
what
someone
day
go a
are
week and a
we
half ago. Welcome to entrepreneurship. You never know what day it
in?
is
Mhm.
unless when your clients show up on the schedule. Oh,
Exactly. Oh, you must be
yeah,
too. It must be
yeah,
Tuesday.
it
You're
must be
here.
Tuesday. So, but no, I had to let somebody go, and this was on a Friday, and at the cookout, and that Monday I had her replaced. But the reason I had her replaced so quickly was because the girl that replaced her, I had a relationship with already.
Mhm.
Like, I knew who she was, I knew
Mhm.
her work ethic, things like that. Like, it was easy because one of the and I'm sure you can echo these sentiments also. One of the things that sucks about having a business is fucking interviewing.
Yes.
I hate interviewing
Yeah.
people, and
100%.
I have
Mhm.
absolutely grown to love nepotism. Like, I
Yeah.
really have. Like, if you're on the outside looking in, like, oh, what a terrible thing to say. No, not nepotism as in I hired someone because their mom, dad, friend asked me to, but I hired someone because I knew them. I already had a
Yeah.
relationship with them. I knew that they would be a good fit.
Yeah.
I mean, now I don't know exactly if that falls under the category of nepotism, but it's probably somewhere under that umbrella. But I don't think there's any bigger beating than the interview process.
One of my favorite things is I would always hear from people that don't own a business. You just need to hire better people. You need to get an interview. I'm like, thanks, really?
Right?
Thank you. Like,
Awesome.
someone can't boldface lie to me in an interview, which happens too.
What happened from Fusion to now?
So I closed Fusion. A lot of people ask what happened. A lot of people were surprised by it. I go, well, a good business person's not going to let you know that there's major issues going on in the business.
Mhm.
But if you were watching, I was working way too much inside the business because I couldn't find a staff and things like that. Anyways, so in December, I had a child. My staff kind of imploded. So at that point, I had to make an immediate decision that, well, I was hoping till the lease went, because I had given myself till June to make my ultimate decision, because I was getting kind of tired of this business model, and it came a little bit sooner. Of course, I was very upset about it. I had a great friend of mine, Claudine, that said, hey, I got a free ticket to go to Tamika's thing, because I had been to Tamika's events prior, and it was just very, nice to be around fellow world changer type people just to go, you're okay. You've been through this before. So I went through that and everything. So, but I always knew that I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I had my maternity leave. And then my
How'd you get
original,
maternity leave as an entrepreneur?
I know you don't really get it. So I really didn't get it with this one
Right.
because I was literally, I think maybe a month out of a cesarean moving things. So I'm doing my rehab right now. But anyways, so I had that 3 months and I was like, this is, I was real pissed off. I was very mad. I was very angry. I wasn't sad. I was very angry because I was like, why couldn't I even get a fucking 3-month maternity leave without, worrying about this stuff? So after I was done angry, I was done cussing, I was all that. I go, okay, this is enough. My goal was to go back to work at Fusion to do body work on February 6th, which was my birthday, which I opened Fusion my 30th birthday.
Okay.
So that was something I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just meant to be that way again. So I put the work in. I had a really great client that I was in fire sale mode. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? My life is going crazy. I just had a baby. Like, oh my gosh. He goes, Jen, you need to take a breath. He's an entrepreneur himself. He actually developed the wine wand, which is like everywhere now. He said, I'm going to help you. We're going to sit down because you're in panic mode and we're going to come up with a plan because I know that who you are and you're in freak out mode. I said, yes, I am. Please help me.
What gave it away?
So, and I know this guy and he's an inventor and I knew that he had gone through many failures himself before finding success. I also read the book, Comebacks, which was, I was just grasping. I like, this isn't going to bring me down. I'm going to figure it out. So within that 3-month period, I came up with a plan. I'm still working it out a little bit, even right now, but it's all on a pathway. And I said, I'm not going to let this bring me down. And I will tell you, that was the time where I was like, wow, people really care. Cause that is when I started to have my entrepreneur friends call me and go, what the hell happened? Jen, what happened? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I remember Kadima with Vive was angry. He was like angry that this was happening to me. And so I took a step back and I organized myself. I put out my feelers and I said, I got to start making money. That's my first priority. You know what I mean? I don't have any money.
Bills didn't stop.
I was already broke basically.
Baby's still hungry.
Yeah, exactly. And I was really running on fumes financially trying to keep Fusion open. So I said, F this, I'm going to go start making money for myself because I have a family, So anyways, I met April. Owns Inspire in Colleyville. She offered a room, which is ideal for me because it has the clientele that I'm used to and I know how to be with, which I don't necessarily need. But again, like I said, I'm always looking for clients. And I knew I still have a heart to mentor and foster therapists. So I knew that would be a good spot for them. And it had all the amenities I needed. So I went back to work a week after my on February 6th, my birthday. And that was purely because I was like, screw this. Why am I going to work on my birthday after going through all this? So I was like, I'm going to enjoy 1 week, at least 1 week of my maternity leave where I can go, okay, I have a plan and we're going forth with the plan and we're going to go from there. So my core belief is that I'm put on this earth to teach people how to take care of themselves. And that facility wasn't really doing that. It was basically facilitating it. Yes. But I found more passion in educating my clients on a deeper level for long-term relief. And so I never got to really fulfill that there because I was so sucked into there. Because I have that specialty training that is to help them. And I never even had time to teach that because I was so
involved. You're so in the business.
Yeah. And I mean, that was $25,000 training I took that I was never able to even utilize because I had to be out of the office to do it, So yeah, now I have a space I can teach those classes, people that will actually want to learn those classes because that's my ideal clientele are these yoga people. And then, I can start fresh and kind of go, okay, I'm facilitating, but then now let me educate you and then kind of give you that long-term freedom type stuff.
What would you say to somebody who, if let's say they just walked in the door here and all they heard was the last part that you're talking about, and if they say that it sounds like you were just talking about money, like it was just for the money?
I would tell them, "Well, why do you think I'm in business?" I mean, I remember sometimes someone I had a therapist and it made me laugh, and he goes, "Well, Jen," like, very facetiously, he goes, "Well, Jen, you make money off of me." And I'm like, "Well, duh." I said, "Why do you think like, I don't make a ton of money, but why do you think I opened this business and have all this responsibility? It's not to just pay you and not make like, what?" So, I mean, it's not all about money for sure. I'm just lucky enough to that my purpose generates income, but I also know that I do a physical job for
Hmm.
that purpose and I one day won't be able to do it.
Right.
So I have to set myself up financially to be able to continue to help people when my body needs a break, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like that, my purpose generates income. I had a coach very recently tell me, and this really put things into perspective because from a chiropractic standpoint, one of the great things about, I mean, hell, it works for massage too. One of the great things about chiropractic massage is there's so many different ways to do it.
Mhm.
Nobody will do body work like you fucking ever.
No.
Nobody can adjust like me. That's a blessing and a curse.
Mhm.
S-
Exactly.
So I mean, at the same, like I mean, I'd say joke. No, as I say with a good bit of honesty, my patients have it so much better off than myself because as far as chiropractic is concerned, I will
Right.
spend my entire life looking for second best.
I
But
know, and I someone asked me that to people. I know I feel bad when I say that, but I'm just like, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's
I
not
don't,
true.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I put a lot of effort, 20 years into this business. You
Uh-huh.
know what I mean?
Chiropractor, he's got 3 offices, but the whole city was out of power. And I was talking the other day, it's like, yeah, I just wrote out a payroll, or I just got done doing payroll for $23,000.
It's like, oh
And
my
I only
gosh.
saw people 5 out of the last 10 days.
That was one thing I struggled with employees is that this is a really hard time with the inflation and things like that because I think people assume that, oh, especially small businesses, we just immediately got some kind of pay raise or something where we can accommodate all of this. And
Mhm.
so it's like we personally financially take the hit on that. And so when you're writing payroll and someone's going, I'm doing less, but I'm demanding more, you're like, I don't know where I'm supposed to get this magic money
Mhm.
all of a sudden. You got to give me a little time. But
Right?
that's been really hard because there was no time. It's like the pandemic hit and then inflation. And then it was like, ah,
Right?
you know? Yeah, and it's made me kind of I've really tried to not harden myself over this time because it makes me a little bit harder where you're just like people don't understand that sacrifice that you make. But yeah, payroll.
People are, hearing the news reports and things like that,
Mhm.
and it's coming off the coast.
Mhm.
People in San Francisco and LA are looking for, 15 an hour to flip burgers. People in New York looking for $15 an hour to flip burgers. People in Texas weren't looking for that until they heard people on the coast were looking for that. But you know what it fucking costs to live out there as opposed to what it lives here? Like
Right.
all they're seeing, and this sounds
Mhm.
it sounds kind of bad, but in all reality, like people are just being just fed this garbage from places that don't really, represent them or represent the cost of living
Right.
that we have. So if our cost of living isn't the same as San Francisco, there's a reason that our pay wouldn't be the same as San Francisco. But at the same time, people are just hearing these news reports. San Francisco's
Right.
are on strike and at McDonald's because they're not getting $15 an hour. People are like, oh,
Mhm.
$15 an hour. Like, I want you to sit at a front desk and just schedule an
Yeah,
appointment. Like,
exactly. Like it's the easiest, most fun job ever. And also, as a person that genuinely cares about personal growth and other people, it hurts my heart because to me, I feel like our community and the world has become kind of like, you know, oh, as soon as it gets hard, I want someone to help me when they don't understand that. And I'm not saying this is everybody, but when they don't see, maybe I should take a step back, figure this out instead of immediately seeing what I can get, you know?
mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me because it's not like I'm always like, oh, I can't do the pay rate or a pay raise right now, which, I couldn't. But it was also like, you got to learn how to get through these hard times. This is just like, especially in the really young people that would work for me. Like, if you think this is bad,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, ooh, the stuff I could share with you. I remember telling her, I'm used to eating ramen noodles and hot dogs. I ate ramen noodles and hot dogs to start. So if I need to eat ramen noodles and hot dogs again to get this business going because it is my true purpose, I don't mind eating ramen and noodles and hot dogs.
Yep.
I think you do. And that's going to be the difference between us. You can't take a step back to take a step forward. But sometimes you just got to do that, and yeah, that's been like the most heartbreaking thing with my employees in this the shift that our, world's taking right now, where I'm just like, just push through.
Right.
Every person I see, I'm like, you need to read Man's Search for Meaning. You need to read these books, because these are the people that are the strong-minded people that are going to adapt instead of demand. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You know what I mean? And that's when you see those people go, oh, I found my purpose in that
Mm-hmm.
struggle.
Every interview I've had, there's been a moment in it where it's like, there's the trailer. Like there's the nugget that someone is going to get from this. And that was brilliant. That really was it.
Oh,
And
thanks.
you're welcome. But it's also too, at the same time, like it's 100% true. I had, like I had a massage therapist once. She quit because she wanted to go back to esthetician school. Perfect. That, I want to better my station. Awesome. I had another one who called off her engagement and moved back to Pennsylvania. I can't really speak to that. That's kind of rough. And then I had a front desk girl who literally like walked out. Shit, it might have been an hour into like her third shift. Just like, and we only have 3-hour shifts. Like she walked out an hour into like her third shift, and it just didn't come back. Like didn't respond to a text, nothing. I had another one, and this one was kind of terrifying for a hot second. She left after the morning. Okay, cool. And then Juliet, my ops manager, she walked out to go to her car, and in the parking lot, all she saw was the shirt that we had got this girl and her shoes, just left in the parking lot.
Yeah, like,
and she was
this girl got stolen.
Yes, she was a tiny person too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and so like
so you're like genuinely
yeah,
concerned.
like, please, well, what happened? Why are your shoes? And it's like, why would she take her shoes off? Or why would they, the people who stole her, take her shoes off? And then she responded back. There was somebody in the office that morning that was telling me how their child was injured by a vaccine. They were just sharing this with me, and it happened within the last like 48 hours. Like they got a vaccine, and then all of a sudden, they had that look that vaccine injured children have.
Yeah.
And he was sharing this with me. He wasn't decrying the pharmaceutical industry. He's like, hey, I think this happened.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. But in texting the girl that I thought was stolen, she goes, I can't believe, or I can't work in a place that would allow somebody with such barbaric frames of mind to, enter. It's like she tried to put it as political as possible, but at the same time, like the fact that she just left her fucking shoes and her shirt.
Right. And people like don't realize. I remember someone one time. That's just that mentality, because I remember someone one time, Jen, someone can take a vitamin and die. Like everybody has some kind of, like, we didn't say that.
Right.
You took it to that level without even questioning me the intent of that conversation. Yeah, that's crazy.
I think so. Like the two that left, one certainly, the other again. If you call off your engagement and you got nobody else here, okay, go back to Pennsylvania. It might have been a smoother way to, but if you're going to run away from something, sure, run away from an ex. I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But then the other two, like, just didn't even talk. I had literally, I was blindsided, and this was back to back too. I was blindsided twice in a row, and this goes back to the interview thing. Like, that's why interviews suck. Like, I thought they were great hires. Like, they filled out the W-2, and like, okay, I'm making a commitment to you.
Yeah.
Neither of them gave me a fucking word.
Yeah, and that's another thing I kind of think came from the pandemic, is people have this like closed-minded thought that unless you believe exactly what I believe, then I can't be in the same situation, which again is just dividing us a lot. But it's like, what, that's so unhelpful for your growth if you can't even be in the presence of something and hear a second thought, and not that you have to believe it, but to just, that's gonna. So every workplace you ever walk into, if they even mention it, you're going to walk out. Like, that's hurting nobody but you.
Yep.
Nobody but you. And it's like, God, that's so sad. Like, man, like I have very strong beliefs, but I can sit there and listen to someone about their beliefs till I'm blue in the face. And I don't ever have to agree with them, but I'll sit there and go, I can sit here and listen to your opinion. Unless you offend me personally or my family, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever happened to just being able to agree to disagree?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Here's this topic. I mean, in this case, it was vaccines, but it could be fucking anything. I disagree. But I know that's not you as a whole person.
Yeah, exactly.
So all the other stuff that I've been able to,
It's
you know,
great.
accept and tolerate and
Yeah.
heck, like and love to this point, I'll just focus on that stuff.
Yeah, and that's hitting small businesses, and I don't think people really see that part too. So that's just another one of the struggles that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like pay, it needs to be the perfect environment for me emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And then it also needs to allow me growth when I want it on the timeline that I want it. And you're like, okay. So I feel checked. I checked 2 of those boxes, but that third one might have to wait. No,
That's awesome.
or I may need to see a little like give back before I invest in that.
Right? We're really out.
Yeah. So,
Shit,
but again, going back to like the self growth, it hurts me more than anything because I just watch people hurt themselves by not even thinking of, by allowing, like you said, other forces on the outside to fear monger them or to penetrate them in a negative way, because in my opinion that's like just another way to control them. So it's just, it's like, oh no,
Right? You're doing it. You're falling for it. You're falling for it.
Dang it.
Oh man. None of that was wrong though.
Yeah.
That was awesome. It really was. It was cool. So the shtick, if you will, that I've developed with this is the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
To kind of close things out here. Because obviously the whole goal of this thing is to help people in entrepreneurial and self-development and self-improvement spaces. This is a long format thing. What if somebody just wants, just give me some good some bullet points, some nuggets. Like I said though, that was fucking awesome. We're gonna turn that into a reel. So with everything that you've gone through in the last 20 years, with the multiple businesses and places, things like that, who would you trade places with for a day?
Everyone thinks I'm kind of like a which I am. I'm easy to please and simple, but I would probably change places with someone that has a very bougie lifestyle for a day. Because
Alexis Anderson?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that I can't
take her in this.
I mean, it's weird. I can't even like channel that energy. I'm not born with her like feminine goddess energy when it comes to her style and stuff like that. I would say more like, the take me out shopping or like take me out to some crazy beach. And I'll tell you, or like take me on vacations, or something like that for a day. Take me to some place that I'll never be able to have a chance again. Now, I have done that stuff before. I'll tell you why I would want it a day is because I lived it for a while and I did not like a lot of the baggage that came along with that lifestyle. Because people don't understand that lifestyle holds a lot of baggage. So give it to me in small little portions that I don't have the responsibility connected to it. So I always say like some kind of billionaire or something.
What's a guilty pleasure of yours?
I really like being naked in like natural spaces. That is one of my guilty pleasures, but I think it's very freeing and it's like a big FU to everybody. Like a big, like, I don't need people around me. It's just like sheds it brings you back to nature and you can just go, I am just a thing in a space with no responsibility and I don't give a crap what I look like. So
I think part of that just fits into the stereotype of the massage therapist.
Yeah. I remember whenever this whole fusion thing happened, I talked to my girlfriend. I was crying on the phone. I was like, I just need to go in a waterfall naked somewhere and just wash this all clean. It's just, kind of that mentality.
Okay. Well, it's a little segue here. What's the worst advice you've ever gotten?
I got told before that I shouldn't have a second child. That was probably the worst piece of advice I ever got because they believed that I couldn't handle a second child. And going back to fueled by spite, you got
a kid out of spite?
Yeah. But I was already planning on having
entirely out of spite.
But I thought in my mind, what gives you the right to tell me how I should develop my family? Because of one part of my life. So that was probably the worst piece of advice I ever got. And that just pissed me off.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's something you wish you were better at?
Probably at budgeting a little bit. I tend to be, which comes to, it helps me a lot, but I tend to be the person that jumps before thinking. And it's served me well, but there's been times with my budget where I'm like, oh, I want this now. And then I'll go, oh, shoot.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Another thing I learned with fusion.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Man, I got one today from a client that told me that and this is one, and I never know how to respond, but it's always, "You are amazing," and your hands, they'll basically tell me that what I do was a gift from God, and they wish they could have found that. And I'm like, what do you say to that?"
Right?
And I'm just like, I mean, I know, but I feel like that's such a compliment. It's like, how can that's someone saying, "You found your purpose, and I see that you found your purpose." And you're like,
Mhm.
"Dang, I did. Thanks."
God, send an anonymous email so they don't know where it's coming from, because that's
I
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and today, and I thought, because again, Tamika, she's like, "Learn to take a compliment." And I've been way better about it, but when people say that, I mean, what are you all I can say is thank you.
Mhm.
And but they'll keep going, and I'm like, I don't know what else to say. I'm
Well,
like, ah.
it's like I literally, like,
Mhm.
again, for Tamika, for the uninitiated, my wife,
Yeah.
um, there's like, I'll say it to patients, like, "Hey, nice shoes. Thanks, I got them." And like I literally sound like,
Uh-huh.
just say thanks. Just
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying. It was cute shoes. I don't care where you got them or how much they were at
Right.
Target. Is there anything that you wished I had asked you or brought up?
I do want people to understand that there's a major lack of mindfulness in the world. And when I say mindfulness, it's not some kind of like hippy dippy term where you're thinking, oh, I have to
But
do
running naked under a waterfall.
right. There's ways that you can find mindfulness through other experiences that aren't hyped up, that you don't need to go to someone to find the way to get there, that you can learn for free, that can open up doors in your life exponentially. You just have to find someone that will help you with that. Whether that's why I like cold plunging. So whether that's cold plunging or breathing techniques or listening to your body through somatics. But I think once our the human race becomes more mindful of their body again on a deeper level, they can start sensing issues before they become chronic pain and injury. So
Mhm.
we need to make that a more priority, fix that before we start to only look on the outside. Look at the in first person experience more. We need to really start delving into that first person experience and quit trying to say that it's a hippy dippy thing. It is something that happens in our brain that's been shown through brain scans
Mhm.
that are firing in our brain that helps us heal and helps us become more deeply aware of sensations in our body. And we just need to people need to know that, I think.
Yeah, it's really it needs to be well rounded. There is no one cure. There's not one pill for one ill, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word. I saw something. I mean, not to make this just holistic, but again, holistic is not a bad thing. Duh.
Hmm.
But I saw something the other day. It was like, if you're a healthcare provider, not even just medical doctor, it could be a massage therapist, it could be a chiropractor, it could be a PT. If your healthcare provider isn't also asking you about how much you're exercising, what your diet looks like, what you do for work, what your
Yeah.
mental state is, and what your thoughts are like, things like that. If they're not asking you about that, they're not going to be able to fix you. And I'm
No.
sure you've had patients or clients like that, because I know I have, where they come in and they want a massage, they want an adjustment, but at the same time, like, you're never going to get better
Mm-mm.
because of what you have happening up here.
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
until you take care of it, I can adjust you all day long. You can do
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
hour-long massage every week, every 3 days.
Right.
But if you don't fix your diet, if you don't fix what you say to yourself, just the stuff that you say to yourself every day when nobody else is listening, you're beyond help. But at the
Right.
same time, from
Mhm.
a provider, if you don't take that stuff into account, you're doing a disservice. You're not looking at the whole patient.
Exactly. And like we're never going to be out of a job because there are people like that are needed. Like I tell my clients, there's going to become times in your life where you're not going to be able to take care of yourself as much as you are. One of the big ones I see, because a lot of my clientele is over 50, are people that are having to caretake older parents.
Mhm.
And I tell them in that you're going to be living in purgatory with this parent that has cancer for the next 6 months. You're going to be stuck. I'm here for you to help you through that. You're not going to be able to take care of yourself as much as you can. That's fine. I'm just letting you know that that's how it's going to be
Yeah.
probably for about 6 months, but then we're going to have to refine you and things like that. But, to even have that awareness of I'm about to go into purgatory, I'm about to not be able to take care of myself, I'm about to have to prioritize someone over me. but that's okay. And I will find myself again. Just that mentality helps you get through that whole
Mhm.
experience. And it makes our lives easier when we work with those people, you know, when they have that mentality of, okay, I'm on board, which we're all going to ebb and flow from it.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. But just know that that's going to be the root cause of everything. And it's not hippie.
So I want to thank you for your time. Is there anything that you want to throw out there where people can find you?
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be developing a lot of classes in fall. I'll be teaching again, the somatic classes. So just a little bit about that mindfulness that I was talking about. That is a really good, great way to get introduced into it, because I teach you how to be mindful, particularly with the movements in your body, which can open up to that. That's going to be coming in fall. If you want to go to my website, it's www.wholesomamassage.com. And I'll be developing also like streaming platforms and things like that, or some kind of subscription type thing with that as well. So, and you can book online with me at myself or Cecilia at that website as well. And then if you are interested in some free classes that I have offered in the past during the pandemic to keep my sanity and to keep my clients healthy. I did a lot of videos. If you go search it's still under Fusion Whole Body Recovery on YouTube, you'll find about 20 videos of my somatics videos, or pandemic done. So they're not the best, but they can give you a little taste of what somatics is. And
That's cool.
You can see if I even teach one on there called Mindful Evening Meditation, where it's a combination of meditation and movement to help you become more mindful. So
that's awesome. Are you on Instagram at all?
Yeah. Mainly Facebook. Just look up Whole Soma Massage.
Awesome.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Jen, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I think this is the third recording we've done, because I know I did that like Friday afternoon live thing. Probably.
Yeah. Like
fun.
once. Yeah. It's so fun. I love talking to you.
Once again, everybody out there. Sorry, I don't know where I thought the camera was. Again, appreciate you watching. As always, like, share, subscribe. Jen, just further proof that you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. Right here, fueled by spite. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.